Ah, this is convenient. I just put the phone in the cup holder and it's like right there. So, I just got a new phone in the midst of the storm, actually right before the storm hit, but I couldn't sync it up because we didn't have Wi-Fi. And so my mom, after 2 weeks of no Wi-Fi, was like, Sarah, can you just get a Starlink? She found out about Starlink. And long story short, walked into a Best Buy when they just received a shipment and got it that day. And she got hooked up, which is a lifeline to a 77-year-old woman who is pretty much housebound. So we've been slowly, coming to a place of some normalcy of what, our goals and plans have been, which my plan was to get a device that could pick up my mic. And my kids have been making fun of my phone that I've had for the past few years for a while because it doesn't support a lot of apps. So here we are, with better sound quality and better video, and processing this crazy 1,000-year catastrophe in Western North Carolina, in Asheville and all the surrounding towns, including the town I live in. And it's just a lot to process and take in of like, God knew all of that, and he knew like where I would be, and that I would be starting to upload content in the middle of all this, or before it and in the middle of it. So I'm processing all of that. I drove my daughter to her co-op today and finished shopping for my mom. I'm at an intersection that is not a typical intersection. There's still, lots of work that's being done here in our town. And that light was treated as a stoplight. So yeah, I feel like as the days have been passing and have been feeling gratitude just for how the Lord took care of us and has been taking care of us, and all those that we love in our community, how the Lord has taken care of them. Hearing stories of even those that have lost life, like the sovereignty and beauty of God, and in some of these situations, my uncle showed me a video of a woman who was giving account on, I think it was Fox Weather, of she was sharing that her son and her parents and her were all, I don't know what area in Asheville, but they the water was so high there that they went up onto top of their roof, and she still had cell service at that point, and she messaged her family, this is where we're at, like her extended family, her sister and whatnot. And shortly thereafter, the house split and they were all pulled into the water, including her parents and her son. And this testimony is just like amazing to me. She's giving God the glory because her son and her parents both were not found, and they passed, and she was pulled underwater several times, and yet she's giving God glory. She's sharing what her son was saying, and just like, Jesus, save me, with full of faith. I don't know, maybe I can find the link and copy and paste it onto this video. But even in the devastation, like seeing how people are just meeting each other with brotherly love and kindness, and seeing how the Lord is even providing faith. I don't know how to process all that. Like, I'm processing that. I'm a faith-filled believer, but like, there is just a lot there that I can't fathom. And so as I've been giving God praise and being grateful for the good, I've also wrestled with me feeling like, how can I help? And when you're in the middle of trying to find gas and propane and cash and food and keep up with an elderly parent that lives with you, keeping them comfortable when they have health issues, and then volunteering in the neighborhood some, and at some of the distribution centers, and having the girls help make food for workers, and my husband help with friends with remediating mold and cutting down trees. It feels like a drop in the bucket to I guess those parts of my heart that don't fully know God's goodness, the parts that have maybe encountered trauma in the past. And like I said in the video when I was in Pack Square yesterday, those parts have bled forward, and they're just very present in all of this. And so even though God's provided and He's so good to me, I've been questioning His goodness, and then feeling guilt on top of that, you know. And I have an amazing counselor who is helping me to see Jesus in this all, and see that there's provision even in allowing those parts of my heart to heal and to give voice to those parts. And I feel like it's important because it's important to give voice and to allow for that sort of space, which kind of feels like, what good does that bring to the world for me to make a video on that, or even to like be present with myself to honor and acknowledge how I'm feeling. But it is important, especially when you think about trauma and pain, how it can encapsulate and keep you stuck. If you don't look at it and feel it and acknowledge it and work through it, you can't find the beauty. You can't find creativity. You can't sing and dance again. And I want to, I want to have some context for meaning, and there's been different seasons in my life that have felt very meaningful. But there's been context to it. And I think especially as people get older and things are stripped away and pruned back, I know with working as a nurse and like learning ethics and autonomy, especially with elderly, as people age, like the importance of autonomy, the importance of people feeling like what they give to the world is meaningful. It really helps for people's health. And working with my mom, like if she has a part to play in this world at 77, even though she's housebound, like she's a meaningful member of our family. And when she doesn't have the context for her part, and she's not connected to the world around her in the way that she thrives, it's difficult to carry on, you know? And so whether, you know, I find myself doing and I find myself, you know, adding value to the world through giving of my time and my knowledge base to people to help with health, like from my knowledge base of being in healthcare and being a nurse and having understanding of anatomy and physiology, or it's dance, or it's worship, singing, you know, all of that, it has to draw from like a well of like finding God and being met by God, in a way that's cumulative, that's been built upon itself. And if you all of a sudden have that foundation completely wiped away, or rather, if it feels like that what has been built upon itself has been completely wiped away, it can feel very devastating. And so even though I'm like speaking to an internal world, I feel like that has played out externally in the physical, in the world around me, with people having to deal with things being stripped away, whether it's homes or whether it's dealing with foundation issues in their homes. It just feels very weighty, and in the weight, experiencing God and His goodness here. And that is so humbling, and so it's like a solemnness, and I'm just processing it all. And I'm just really like, I've been in a place of like not knowing how to give voice to that, but other than just sitting in it, feeling in it. But I feel like I need to give voice to it now. One thing that has really had me marvel has been just how this has all lined up with the feasts of the Lord, that all speak prophetically of His nature and point to Jesus. And, you know, this all hit around the 10 days of awe, and then Yom Kippur, the Day of Atonement, this past Saturday. And I literally was like, I felt like that the Day of Atonement was embodied within my heart, my mind, my body. I read this beautiful poem. It's a liturgy, a prayer. And it was like, essentially, it's just talking about God, how God is the one who atones for us. It's him. And what that feast speaks to is like, it's an evaluation of the previous year, the year that has been lived, of like what needs to be stripped away, what needs to go. And then a looking forward to the things that not need to change in our own strength, but like in him, like a fresh start. And I think, there's confusion around Torah and like observing the Sabbaths and feasts of the Lord, but they all point to his beauty, and it's not something unto salvation. It's just a reflection of God's nature, that in observance, there's like a greater knowing of his character. I think if you meditate on what he's doing at these appointed times, it gives context to me, and it helps me with my foundation to not feel like all that I've built, whether it's in healthcare and nursing or creatively through like my time with the Lord in dance and song, and it gives meaning to what he's building, and what he's building on this earth is in the hearts and minds of his children. And who are his children but those that believe and receive from him? And even in our unbelief, he's faithful to meet us. And that is so humbling, so hard to receive sometimes. And I think that through this time where parts of me have really been struggling to just believe in his goodness towards me and towards all those around me, he's the master potter. He's like, chiseling away that which doesn't reflect him. He's ingraining smooth paths in my heart and in my mind to naturally just reflect him. And for that, I'm grateful. So I pray that his atoning work for this earth is more and more felt and experienced in all of our lives, and that we more and more lean on him and not on the outward appearance of things or on our own strength or the traditions of man, but on him, his loving kindness, his steadfast love, his mercies that are new every morning, until his full work is seen throughout his whole church and his bride, and we reflect him fully, that he is fully known in us. Yeah. I would like to work through some of these more bitter, sweet emotions in a way that I feel like melodies of my heart and harmonies of my heart can be explored and expressed and felt and heard. And I'd like to find the rhythm of his love and an invitation to dance with him again. But I also want to honor this space of just needing to feel and experience him and be known by him in his mercy and knowing it's not me, it's Him that does the good work. So, yeah. I am parked at the next grocery store, finishing up shopping for my mom. Yesterday, I went to Publix, couldn't go inside until I felt like so many parts of me needed to go and just see what Pack Square looked like, and to drive into Asheville and just pray, because that city, it's a sister city to where I live, and it's just dear to me. Like, it's just what Asheville stands for, and who migrates to that city is just dear to my heart. I can relate to the folk that call Asheville their home. And so I ended up, after going to Pack Square and then driving through the River Arts District, going to Publix in South Asheville and finding half of what I needed for my mom. And so today I went to the Publix where I live and finishing up at another grocery store for her. So His mercies are new every morning. I have the grace to shop today and to feel like my thoughts are a little bit more directional, not feeling like I don't know what I need. It was sweet how the Lord led me to Pack Square yesterday. It was like an invitation, like, do you want to go there, Sarah? And I was like, yeah, I do. But so many parts of me were like, it's so weird. Anyway, this is the inner working of sanctification in a believer's life. Sometimes it's more complicated than others for some of us, depending on what we've experienced in life. But God is sovereign, and He's good over all of us and all of our stories, and the plans that He has for each of us are good, are for good, are good in His glory. So anyway, I feel His goodness right now. So God bless you all. I pray that you can know and experience and taste how He feels towards you in this moment, and in the invitation of gratitude that He has for you, just whether it's in some tears of finding a video that's encouraging, or in tears of being with a friend you haven't seen after a month, who just understands pain in a way that maybe you don't feel like the grace is there in your day-to-day life. Whatever it is, that little handout from the Lord, that you can just breathe Him in those moments. Just remember, like, how you feel and how it feels to feel His good pleasure towards you. God bless you.